welcome to our Winter Solstice gathering. We're so grateful to have everybody here.
Hello, beloveds. Hello, sisters. Thanks for meeting us here on this coming close to the shortest day and longest night of the solstice. So good to have you with us.
Such a beautiful time of year. And while all the beloveds are coming in, we would invite you as we open sacred space to share your intention for this full moon. This is it's called the cold full moon. I think we know why, right? And the winter solstice, and as the year is coming to the end, and of course it's all ending, right? So we would love to hear what your intentions are for this present moment, for the moon, whatever is present with you. And if you would like to type it in the chat box so we can kind of all share these beautiful intentions together.
And we are going to read a few of them out loud. We'll read whichever ones we can out loud. So just know as you type it in that it might be spoken aloud, if that's all right with you.
And I think if you rather not, there's a way to just send it to us privately, or sometimes it's just voicing it to your out loud or writing it down, or whatever you feel called to do is perfect.
And Amanda, will they need a journal today for your exercise at all? Will they need something to write?
I think it'd be really nice to have some pen and paper. And so basically how the flow is, we'll open up sacred space and then we will go into a winter solstice journey together. And then
we'll see. I'll be sharing in just a moment about the rest of the flow, but yes, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about how this is embodied practically, and hoping that I can stay on the call. I'll share why that is in just a moment, but please share your intentions, and then you may need a journal to write with at some point. It would be helpful to have something.
And so I love that, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing to explore and reveal my truth and stand with confidence.
Oh, hello, Farron. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Farron. Hello, beauties. Oh, go ahead.
Farron says, hello, beauties. Hugs and kisses. Intention is to step into my fullest self-expression and create alignment with my most divine, abundant life.
Beautiful. Thank you, Farron. And Maria. Hi, Maria. She's coming to us from Dublin. Hi, Amanda and Laura and everyone. My intention is for us all to have peace in our hearts. Beautiful. I felt that right there. So thank you for that. That was beautiful. Gorgeous intentions.
Anybody else would like to share intentions for the circle? You're welcome to. And if you just want to send it to us privately, there is a way to change your message there in the chat box to just the hosts, if you'd like. And then Judith has raised a hand. Do you have a question, Judith? You can type it. If you want to type it privately to us, you can, or you can post it in the chat box. And for those of you who haven't been with us before, we actually can't see you. We can read your comments and we can see your names. We can't see your faces for this experience. You can see us. So that's just one thing to note. And then please forgive me if I don't pronounce this right. Shua, from Shua, to reconnect and refocus.
That's beautiful and lovely to connect with you. Thank you for being here with us. It's beautiful. My gorgeous intentions. And then we have Kate. Hi, Kate. Welcome, love. Lovely to have you here with us. Peace, love. Yes, I'll really take those in too. And healing on the planet, healing to the planet. Yeah, to our dear mother. Yeah.
Hi, Kate.
Oh, thank you, Kate. And there's
Tracy. There we go. They're coming in now. From Tracy. Amanda and Laura, my intention is for more healing and health in our world. I'll take that one. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And Natalie. Oh, and hi, Tracy. It's lovely to have you there. Hi, Natalie. My intention is to live a life of freedom in peace and harmony. They're all just like, I feel feeling them all so deeply. They're all so beautiful. Thank you, Natalie. That's gorgeous.
Okay, there's Leslie. What is the focus of these intentions? So we're just sharing what your intention is for this circle, for what you're calling in right now in general, in your life, or for this particular circle. That's what these intentions are. We always start every experience together with what is it that you're wanting to call in within yourself or in the world. It's a way of making it more real in your life by setting this intention and bringing power to it. And being able to speak that in a group of women is incredibly powerful.
And not just women, we have some wonderful men on the call too. So it's
Wonderful.
beautiful.
Good.
Yeah,
Welcome, Ben.
yeah. And so, okay, so we've got Tara. Hi, Tara,
Hi,
welcome.
Tina.
My intention is to flow like water, stay grounded in my spiritual practice, and live in unconditional love in every moment. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so good to see you here. And we have Christina who says, hi, my intention is for grounding and peace allowing.
Mm,
Thank you, Christina.
so beautiful. Hi, Christina. Love, and I love it because flowing like water. It's all the winter solstice. This is the water time of year, and obviously the moon is that as well. And so we've got Stacy. Reconnect, ignite, activate, and remember. Love to you all. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Stacy.
And then Leslie says, I intend to call in my guides and stand in wisdom and power.
Beautiful. And Siobhan, lovely to have you here in love. My intention is to experiencing and bring others to freedom, expansion, peace, and flow. That's beautiful. Thank you. Totally filled up now. They're so beautiful, all of those intentions.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Siobhan. Love to you too.
Lots of love to you, love.
I'll just share
Oh,
briefly
yes, please do. Yes, yes.
on my end. So ladies, I'm so happy to be here. Did not know if it was going to happen as of a couple hours ago. My son is very sick and I'm also nursing a cold. Our whole family has had a pretty nasty cold sweep through, and he's here and he's downstairs on a movie right now. So we're hoping that that works because he's home from school today. But there is a good chance that I will have to step out and check on him and make sure he's okay and just keep tending to him. So I will be here for as much as I can, and where I can't be here, Amanda will step in. And if there's for any reason that I can't close space with you all, just know that I am so grateful to see all of your beautiful names and intentions, and I'm holding all of this with you. And I know that today will be beautiful for however much I can participate. So thank you all for your understanding, and Amanda for your grace and flexibility and beautiful
Thank you
kindness.
for being here with us. And even if it's just this moment, we're so grateful for that. So,
Me too. Thank you.
okay, so I think we will get started with our meditation. So we'll just
Okay.
invite everybody to get nice and comfortable. If you feel like lighting a candle, if you've got a shawl, if you've got a pillow. I mean, it's all about self-love, compassion, nourishment, and especially this time of year where there is cold and there is like so much going around. So it's just like wrap yourself up, and it is. I mean, it's a time to go inwards, to hibernate. So anything you got, we're just going to give you a moment to get all comfortable. And if you want to lay down, you can lay down. But we do really want you to be comfortable. Sit down, take off your shoes, feel the earth beneath you. And then whenever you're ready, beloveds, we're going to invite you to just gently close your eyes. And just this act of closing our eyes says, I want to go inwards. I'm going to bring my energy, because we know that everything, all of that wisdom and all of that love is within us. So I invite you to bring your awareness, and I would usually say to your heart, but actually bring your awareness to wherever it wants to go. It might be your heart, it might be your third eye, it might be your solar plexus, or just wherever it goes. You have infinite wisdom within you. You already are that unconditional love. You already are that beautiful flow like the river. You already are sovereign. And it's just remembering and reconnecting to that. So as you close your eyes, that's just saying, I'm honoring this time of the winter solstice. I'm honoring myself in this darkest time of the year. This is the time for all of us in the Northern Hemisphere where we are invited to come inwards, to hibernate, to heal, to reflect, to dream. So I'm inviting you to be fully present here and now in this moment, and knowing and trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. So you can just let yourself surrender and really allow this time to be for you, to be fully present, and to receive whatever your soul had that wisdom to know that it was ready to receive in this moment. So to really bring us into this present moment, we're going to do that with our breath. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep inhale, and as you inhale from the womb of the earth, so we're going to inhale and draw. As we inhale, we're going to draw that energy up from the earth, and we're going to bring it all the way up through our bodies and draw it all the way up to the crown of our heads. And then we're going to hold that breath, and whenever you're ready, with a big sigh, we're just going to exhale, just let it all go. This is the time, this is the most yin time of year where we surrender, we let go, and we do allow ourselves to be fluid, to remember. So taking another deep inhale, inhaling all the way from the womb of the earth, and just feel that energy rising up within you, that grounded, rooted energy that we receive at this time of the year. Feel it rising up within you, rising all the way up to the crown of your head, and then just honoring yourself, just allowing that energy to build, allow it to build. And then whenever you are ready, with a big sigh, we're just gonna just let it all go. Let it all go. And when you think you've let it all go, let it go some more. Surrender some more. So taking one more deep inhale. Inhaling your breath, feel it rising up, that deep sense of remembering, that nourishment that you receive from the earth. The earth is the connection to our ancestors. So inhaling and drawing that breath all the way up to the crown of your head, and then holding your breath, holding whenever you're ready. Just letting go. Whatever you want to let go of. You've got the support here of the full moon. You've got the support of the winter solstice, that all of our ancestors have honored this time for thousands of years. This alignment of the stars, of the cosmos. And this is our ancestors always inviting us to remember who we are, to remember that we are love, that we are unity. For thousands of years, they'd be sitting around the campfire, sharing stories, sharing wisdom, ways of being through storytelling. So I'm going to invite you now to send umbilical cord from your womb, from your energetic womb space, down into that in the earth. Feel that connection. And for the men in the group, I'm going to invite you to send that grounding cord down into the earth, into Sophia, feeling that rootedness, that groundedness. And then bringing your awareness to the crown of your head. With your mind's eye now, seeing your highest self stand before you. And you look at her knowing that she is you and you are her. And as you gaze into each other's eyes, feeling that unconditional love. And then feeling that source energy, that great mother goddess energy just flowing down and around you. And as we open the sacred space now, in the energy of love and reverence and peace and surrender and expansion and solstice, to stand still, to pause, to give space. We evoke Ichleum, the sacred space. We evoke Ichleum. I'd like to call in the elements first of Ishka, Tine, Colcha, Mór, Agus Mór. Ichleum Echaliak, the winter goddess, the veiled one. The Kaliak, the crone goddess, the wise one. She would run across the land of Ireland with an apron full of gigantic rocks, and she would run across the fields and throw them out. And that's how, from the Kaliak, these stone circles, these fairy mounds, these standing stones were created by the Kaliak, the wise one. So we call upon Ichleum, the Kaliak, Ichleum Marican, also the goddess of the winter, of the darkness, to support us to make friends, to be at peace with the darkness, to integrate it. Ichleum, our ancestors, the Kara family, those that choose to be here for the highest good from a heavenly realm. So I invite you to see yourselves now standing in the center of a forest, an ancient forest. I invite you to look around this forest, to see all the trees. What type of trees are they? What do you hear? Do you hear the sound of running water? Birds? Deers, foxes, rustling through the leaves? What do you smell? Really allow yourself to be fully here, to enter into this other world where you can connect even more deeply. You feel guided to start making your way through the forest. And you just put one foot in front of the next. And as you look down at your feet, you notice you have bare feet. And notice how it feels to walk upon the earth. But also notice how it feels for the earth as you walk upon it. As you look ahead, you see a white light coming towards you. You keep moving forward. And as it becomes closer, you realize that it is a white horse. The horse gallops towards you and stops right as it reaches you. And it bows its head down. And you both go forehead to forehead. A way of connecting. The horse lowers its head and goes down on its front knees and looks at you, and as in to say, jump on. So if it feels right, you invite you to make your way onto the horse and gently hold the mane, the long, white, flowing mane. And as the horse rises back up, it starts to walk. And just notice how you feel on the horse. It starts to trot and canter, and then it just moves into a gallop. Notice how you feel as you gallop along this horse. You realize that you and this horse are one, and this horse represents your spirit. Honoring how you feel, and if it feels right, I invite you to open your arms out and feel that deep sense of trust between you and the horse, your spirit. The horse is galloping up through the fields, rolling green fields, emerald green fields, with the forest behind you now. This horse gallops all the way up, and you can see a stone circle ahead. The horse gallops all the way up to the entrance of this stone circle, goes down on its knees as if to offer you to dismount. And as you make your way over to the entrance stones that are of pure quartz crystal, you stand at the entrance and you look out in front and you see the full moon, the radiant full moon. At your back, you feel warmth and light. And you look behind, and the sun, the winter solstice sun, is rising behind you. Feeling the sun kissing all your energy points, your heart. There's codes, sun codes, downloading information to you now of light, of expansion, of illumination, of whatever you need in this moment. The sun is rising. If you feel, I invite you to make your way into the stone circle. And as you do, just putting your hands out and touching these standing stones, these entrance stones. And as you look on them, you see these beautiful spirals, knowing that this is your ancestors communicating with you. Making your way into the stone circle. Making your way around to the left in order to move clockwise around this stone circle. As you move forward, I invite you now to weave your intentions in. With every foot, putting every foot in front of the next. With every step, weaving in your intentions. Feeling the power of this winter solstice moon rising, but rising up within you. Feeling the support of this bright, luminous full moon. And the power of this stone circle that is connected to every single sacred site in the world. This stone circle with over 5,000 years of ceremony. And the ley line that runs through here connects with Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, Temple of Heaven, ley lines that connect all over the world. These ley lines that are connected with the cosmos, with the stars. So as you make your way around this circle, feeling that unity consciousness. As you make your way around the circle, back around to the entrance stones, you make your way into the center of the stone circle, where all the energy points meet. Just allow yourself to receive this powerful energy. See, now entering in is the Kaliak, the winter goddess, the crone goddess, the wise one. And she makes her way into the center of the stone circle. And she has something in her hand for you, so she is gifting it to you now. And if you feel called to receive it, then she guides you out of the stone circle. However, you know that this stone circle is always available to you, a sacred place for you to go at any time you wish. And as you exit the stone circle, there is this deep sense of knowing that anything you've ever looked for outside of yourself is already within you. That love, that's already who you are. That compassion and kindness, that's who you already are. That freedom, that is you. But you feel a sense of embodiment of that now. As you exit the stone circle, the white horse is waiting for you. Your spirit, your soul. Once again, it lowers his head and you bring your foreheads together to connect. The horse comes back down on its knees, inviting you to ride upon it. And then the horse turns to gallop back down through the fields. Feel the energy of its hooves upon the land. The vibration of the land beneath you. As you gallop along on the horse, feeling this deep sense of freedom and sovereignty and full integration. Feeling it on every single cell of your being. You're entering the forest now. As the horse slows down, coming to a walk, and you realize that you're right back to where you started, where you first met the horse. Again, it lowers down so you can dismount. Feeling this deep, deep sense of love. But knowing this horse represents your spirit. And this horse, you can call upon at any time. If you feel that your thoughts become too dark, if you feel that challenges arise, call in that energy of the horse and just allow yourself to ride across the emerald fields, along a beach, up the mountain. Thanking the horse, the Kaliak, this other world. And whenever you're ready, we're going to make our way out. I'm going to invite you to float your hands over your heart. And just feeling that warmth of the palm of your hand against your heart. And your other hand on top of that. And just feel that nourishment as you touch yourself. So if you feel lonely, for touch, just you have that ability to give that to yourself. That nourishment, that kindness, that compassion. Yes, it's beautiful when it comes from another. And also knowing that you deserve this from you. So making your way back into your room. Feeling the soles of your feet touching the floor. Taking a deep inhale and exhale. And then, beloveds, whenever you're ready, we're just going to invite you to just gently open your eyes. loves.
So I would love to see some words in the chat box of what you're left with from that experience. If there's any words at all, it could not make sense to you, it could make lots of sense. I'd love to just see some words of what's in your energy now, what's on your heart. So feel free to type in the chat box. There's peace, nourishing, refreshed. And it doesn't all have to be fluffy words and happy words, right? It can be anything at all, whatever is real for your experience. Peace, cheer, centered, golden light-filled heart, light. Magic, grounded power, connection, embodiment, compassion, calm, letting go, honoring of self, connection.
Beautiful.
Reacquaintance with ancestors, a yummy connection with my nature friends, gratitude for sacred community, expanded, centered wholeness.
Integration.
I'll let you go ahead. You go ahead, Amanda.
Love how you said we already have embodied all we've been seeking. Oh, love you too, Emma. Oh,
Right.
beautiful.
Welcome, Emma.
And know that we're in this time of the winter solstice, and what's beautiful is we get like really a full 4 days, so you can really kind of sit with whatever came up for you, or really sit with whatever is present with you. Like if there's any time, now is this time. Like it's just all this beautiful sacred support for that.
Yes. So, Amanda, is there anything more you wanted to share on that, or would you like me to go ahead now?
Yeah, go ahead, love. Yeah.
I might kind of get it while it's hot right now, while I have the freedom.
Go.
I don't know when. I don't know if I'll be called out again. For those of you who might not have heard, my son is ill today, so I might have to step out, and I apologize if I do. So, what I love about that we're doing this a few days ahead of the solstice. Sometimes we do it on the solstice, and every time I do a circle on the solstice, I always say, note to self, I should do it a few days before next year. And I'm so glad we did it that way this year, because it's really the preparation up to that time that's this rich, incredibly potent, available energy to us, and that we have the full moon also right now. It is just such a powerful time for us, not just women, for all of us, to go within and to have some time of stillness. And it's so interesting, I'm reflecting on that every year at this time, my family seems to have a really nasty cold, and is, got the cold and flu, and we're sick. And I always reflect like, well, what is our bodies trying to tell us? Here is this time of year where there's so many holiday gatherings. There's so many different traditions that are celebrating this time of year. There's holiday parties. There's kids having their school concerts. It's a little bit, different with the pandemic happening, but it's still a very busy time of year. And what the energy is actually calling us to do is to have more stillness, or at least to balance out the busyness with stillness. But we sometimes forget that part, and we have a little bit of stillness. We have like little pockets of it, but it's actually so nurturing in the energy of the cosmos right now, of nature in the Northern Hemisphere, to go and have more quiet and stillness. And every time I get sick or my family gets sick during this time of year, it's like, it's calling me within. I'm not actually supposed to be out doing 1,000 things right now. I'm supposed to be more inward in this time. And that's what this is actually the lesson right now for me, having been really sick this week, and my children. And it's like, it's actually the time where we're supposed to be more inward. And Sometimes that can be really hard when you feel the pull to different social things, or you feel like you're supposed to be more social during this time. You're supposed to be with more people. And if you're not right now, I mean, if you're feeling lonely in this time, I invite you to reframe that loneliness as an opportunity for the stillness to nurture you, and for the nothingness and the quiet to actually be the gateway to the greatest gifts that you can receive right now. I personally believe that we are more benefited right now by being in the stillness than by going out and spending lots of time socially. And I believe that social connection is crucial and vital. Crucial, that's a good new word, crucial. Crucial and vital, or crucial if you like that. And that it's very important for us to be with the people that we love. I believe that with all my heart. But there's a particular type of wisdom and healing and nurturing that comes from your own stillness and going into the darkness. And darkness doesn't necessarily mean going into the pain. It means going into the quiet and listening for what's there for you. And what are the lessons? What are the reflections? What are the messages that want to come through to you from your higher self, from your inner self, from your guides, from your angels, from your loved ones on the other side? We are so surrounded with that information and that love, and it's rare that we can truly take the time to listen. Now, some of you may have a meditation practice, or maybe this is a regular thing for you. I would guess that you will notice in the next several days leading up to the solstice that there can be a real enhancement of that time that you spend in the quiet, and that there is nothing wrong with making sure you have time in these next few days leading up to when, the solstice is when we shift from the longest nights moving back into longer days. It's the return of the light. It's the promise of spring. It's the promise of new life and change. It's the promise that we are coming back into the fullness of the day and the sunlight. And that's, such a message for our soul too, that whatever it is you've been struggling with, whatever you've been having hardship around, that there is actually an opportunity in this time of the season to see that the light will return and that shift will happen. But I believe we have to actually sit with it in order to know what's the guidance out of that. What's the guidance into the light? What's the guidance into the next change or iteration of our life that's going to bring us the next level of joy and fulfillment and awareness and understanding? And this time, this stillness is where those messages come. It's where that information can come through. And of course, we can get it all year long, but there is such a special magic to sit by a candle in the darkness, in the stillness, wrapped up in a blanket, wrapped up in yourself, wrapped up in, like Amanda said, it's so beautiful to receive that love and connection from others. But when we can practice receiving that from ourselves, it's such an incredible gift. And if it's uncomfortable, if it's hard, if it's even painful, I invite you to sit with it and see what's on the other side of that discomfort and stillness, and see what information can come through to guide you and heal you and love you and be with you, even in the things that feel the hardest to face and the most difficult to get through. That there is nothing but love and support for you available to move through that. And I believe that with all my heart. I know my sister Amanda believes that and has sat through some of the most challenging things. And I have too, that women can go through. And the wisdom and the guidance that comes through in those moments is just, it's everything. And so I invite you to be in it and to really at least give yourself one day maybe between now and the solstice where that is kind of your day, like your alone time day. You might think I'm insane. It's like, the holidays, are you kidding me? I've got to go Christmas shopping, I've got to do this, and I've got a party, and that might be true. But I'm just going to challenge you that perhaps there's a day between now and the 21st, or even now and, for those who celebrate Christmas, that there be a day that's really about you and going within and being in the stillness. Maybe listen to this recording again and do this meditation over and over again on that day. Find another tool that allows you to go within, or just be in the quiet with your favorite soft music or your favorite dancing music to move your body, and see what happens when you immerse yourself in your own energy. See what happens. And that's my invitation to you during this time.
So
Hear a little boy
beautiful.
calling me, so I'm happy to slip away for a second.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. And I'd love to invite everyone now just to get pen and paper. I'd love to just ask a couple of questions, and you can even jot down the questions and answer them later, or, sit with them over the next couple of days. And yes, just this, and if a day seems too much to anybody, even if you can just say, like, this matters, I matter. And even if you can do an hour every day, or whatever you can, but it's consciously choosing that. And I would just, before I go into the questions, I'd love to just read Nancy. I just want to honor what Nancy shared. Okay, I see that's a private. Oh, such a lovely meditation. Oh, they're beautiful. Okay, that was a private message. Sorry. Okay, so what I'd love to do, if you have pen and paper, so the first question is, how is my body yearning for rest? And how can I honor those needs? So Laura just said it, if you can give a day, beautiful, where you go out in nature, it's just like, take off your shoes if it's not too cold. And even if it is, let yourself feel. And in Ireland, we have this tradition called tree whispering, where you can just whisper to the trees, whatever it is, you want to release, just so you don't have to be carrying it. And of course, nature has this ability to just compost, or even just shout it off the top of the mountain, just free yourself from that, and sometimes it's like rest or rejuvenation are two really different things. Like, rest is just, I need to lay down and nap. I need to lie down and journal, or sometimes it can be getting out in nature. But just, again, it's all about honoring and feeling and just tapping into that inner wisdom, listening to your body, listening to your heart, listening to your soul. So question number 2 is, how can I commit to being still so I may listen? So again, maybe you're saying, okay, on the 21st, phone gets turned off. I'm not going near my computer. If you have children, then get some help if that's something that's possible, and it's also a time for being willing to ask for that help and that support in order for you to be able to sit still and listen. And what it will do is fill you up. So how can I commit to being still so I may listen? Number 3, what are the things beyond my physical senses that are yearning for my attention? Is it the gentle whispers of your soul? Is there just this guidance coming through? Many of you mentioned connection with your ancestors, like just listening. What is the guidance? The guidance from your guides, from your higher self. And number 4, what is longing to be heard and sensed deep within you that you may have ignored at that outward time of year, when it is that young, that active, that movement, and we are out in the world. And like in Ireland, it's just like, it's dark from 4 onwards. So it's like nature's like, go in. It's like then there's storms and snow. And I know some of you are in parts of the world where you are experiencing that. But that is the natural rhythms of nature. Look at the trees. They've let go of the leaves. They've gone inwards. They've surrendered in order to come out, like in Imbolc, right? In February, which means in the belly, right? And then in spring, equinox, like it's all going to come around again. But it's like giving yourself that time. Oh yes, number 3, I can repeat that, happy to. Number 3 is, what are the things beyond my physical senses that are yearning for my attention? So what are the things beyond my physical senses that are yearning for my attention? And Stacey, yes, I'm happy. What is longing to be heard and sense deep within me that I have ignored in the outwardness of the warmer time of the year? So what's longing to be heard and sensed deep within you? In what area can I extend forgiveness to myself? In what area can I extend forgiveness to myself and to others? Just, And it's such a beautiful time to just offer it down into the earth, offer that forgiveness. And we really just have to pause. And I loved as Laura was sharing, and that quote of, in order to heal, we have to feel, right? So there's that, first of all, just moving through and listening to whatever needs to, and then it just clears the way for a really higher guidance to come in, a real higher guidance. So number 6 is, how can I extend, or where can I extend forgiveness to others? So to yourself and others. And yeah, there's a request. I'll repeat number 1 up here. How is my body yearning for rest? And how can I honor these needs? And, it's like, there's a reason why we all get colds and everything this time of year, because our body is like, come on, slow down, go inwards. There's a change in season, and there's a reason. Go in, huddle by your fire, wrap yourself up in a blanket, take that time, solstice, to slow down, to pause. Number 7, are there any creative endeavors that I have not given time or space to, that have been labeled not now in the name of being too busy, right? So what creativity wants to flow through you now? It's yearning, and it's such a powerful time of year for dreaming and creativity. And just think now, whatever seeds, right now in this moment together, whatever seeds that are being planted right now, that's what's going to come out in February. It's called in bulk, in the belly, right? And then as they all start to take root and they come up in the spring, and then summer solstice, they're in their full bounty, right? That fullest expression. And then I think a really, really beautiful one for number 8 is, what are some of the best decisions I've made this year? What are some of the best decisions? And perhaps they're conscious ones, they were unconscious ones that we were forced into, but what were the best that are, and sometimes we're in the middle of it. It's like, oh my gosh, how or why? But then it's just, there's clarity as we move forward. So repeat to now. And you know what I'll do, beloveds, is we're going to send out recording, and I'm going to send out all these questions as well, just for anybody that's missed anything. But number 7, I will just repeat that. Are there any creative endeavors that I have not given time or space to, that have been labeled of not now, or in the name of being too busy? And then the last question I'd like to share, number 9, what are the seeds you can plant now to be put into movement? And so I think this in itself is a beautiful ceremony over this next period of the winter solstice. And I agree with Laura, we'll send out the recording so you can redo the meditation if you wish, if that's something you feel called to. And just some gentle ceremonies that I might suggest is just as simple as, and especially tomorrow night under the full moon, or tonight, just light a candle and sit out under the stars. And then if you want kind of a more kind of, and it's a beautiful way to get your creativity flowing, but if you have a forest near you, or even, a farmer's market or something, but to gather making an intentional wreath. The wreaths are actually go back into Druid times. It represents that Celtic wheel. It represents infinity. It represents, we just keep flowing around this wheel, and it isn't really about this is 2021 or 2000. It's just about this fluidity, and how life is so cyclical, and how we do go through the inward and the outward, the yin and the yang. So I might invite you to create your own intentional wreath, and you can gather holly, or whatever is present with where you live, mistletoe, the evergreens, which are very sacred in Celtic, in the work that I do as a priestess, because, they just couldn't believe how in the coldest of winter, these would just stay vibrantly green, no matter what the weather was like. So you could weave those in and make one, and just voice your intentions as you do that. So there are a couple of ceremonies that we Laura and I may suggest to you. So it looks like Laura, maybe I was going to just pass the baton on to beautiful Laura, but I think maybe, yeah, you're there. Okay, wonderful. I didn't know if you had to
I did, but I'm back.
Yay! Like Wonder Woman right there.
There's one more thing I want to share because I got a really beautiful comment here from Sandra that can I share this one thing here about before we move into the retreat?
Yeah.
Um, this is really insightful here. Sandra shared that a lot of times that she has learned that colds or respiratory things or things that have happened can come from unrecognized or unresolved grief. And that is, I believe that to be true too. I believe it calls us inward. And a lot of people say the lungs are a place where the grief is held in the body. And in our family, we had a death this fall. And we are all still grieving very much from that. And this is the first time actually that my mom is here with me. She lost her husband, my stepfather of 32 years in the fall. And there's a lot of grief in our family still coming through that. And we've kind of like tried to move forward and kind of, move into the holidays, but I can feel that this is a big purpose why we're all being slowed down. And she's actually here right now in California with me. And so that was a beautifully insightful comment, Sandra. I just wanted to thank you for saying that because that was something I didn't even put two and two together. And that's very much, I learned so much from being on these calls with all of you. So thank you. And I think that's something that since it's a light for me that came on, I wonder if that might be for the whole circle. If there is any unresolved grief, that's oftentimes can be hard to go into the stillness and the quiet because it hurts so much to feel it. And we think it's going to swallow us up and then we won't ever come out. But the thing about grief is the more we allow ourselves to feel it and express it and actually move it through our bodies, then that's really where the freedom comes and it's where the healing comes. It doesn't make it go away and it doesn't make it hurt less, but it makes us more free and actually more processed and more centered and able to move forward. So and I want to share that my son, who is also a little sick right now, actually said just a few days ago to us, we have a fire pit outside and he's 4 years old. And he said, Mommy, we need to do a fire ceremony for Grandpa Tim. And he said that. And I just thought, a 4-year-old is telling me he knows what needs to happen. Like these voices of wisdom come through all means. They come through our children, they come through our meditation. We are guided on how we can heal. And he's right. We need to do a fire ceremony for healing. And so just listen to the whispers for you, wherever they're going to come through. They're going to come through little children. They're going to come through wise elders. They're going to come through your dreams. Oh, your dreams right now could be, like Amanda said, they could be so potent and provide a lot of guidance for your particular soul and body's healing right now. So thank you, Sandra, that allowed me to tap into that and share that too. So thank you, Amanda, for those amazing questions. Those are so insightful and helpful. And those are the perfect questions to take into a little mini retreat for yourself. If you can, I challenged you to a day, but if you can even do an hour, I know for some of us, that's like a luxury to have an hour, a couple of hours, like Amanda said, in these next few days. So we just really encourage you to make that a priority and make yourself that important that this time is for you also. You probably give a lot during this time as well. So now, Amanda, are we ready for me to share a little bit about our
Yeah, love that. Yes, please.
Okay, so
Oh, sorry.
yeah, did you have something?
No, are you going to share the video? Is that it?
Oh, I wasn't going to this time, but shall I? Do you have access to it right now?
No, I sorry. I just wanted to make sure you had sharing capabilities. So anyway, that's fine. Sorry.
How about, why don't we do this? Why don't you just share for a couple of minutes on the dates and I'm going to get it queued up because I think we should play it.
Okay, perfect.
I'll get queued up. I'll be right back. You can just open up with, what are we talking about?
Woohoo! Okay, well, Laura, the beautiful Laura and I are going to be leading the Priestess Remembrance retreat this August in Ireland. And we're going to start our journey. Well, our entire place that we're going to be staying is this incredibly beautiful place in Wexford, right on the beach. Like this hotel has its own private beach and it's really, really beautiful. So, and then we're going to go to sacred sites and we're going to go through a full moon together and do our own fire ceremony, as your beautiful son was suggesting. And we're going to do ceremonies at sacred sites and really tune into the power. And this site that I just did the meditation is a site called the Drumbeg, which I'm actually going to go for the sunrise tomorrow in County Cork. And that aligns with the winter solstice. So Laura and I are going to be taking you all that come on the retreat. And I know there's a couple on the call that are going to be coming. And we're going to be going to these sacred sites and everything.
The magic of this land has been such a beautiful remembering. Not only the power of the group, I could really feel the intention behind the movement and the journey that we were taking on over the 7 days. The magic that's available here, the history that's so deep and prominent in this country, and the passion coming from the facilitators like Laura and Amanda that have just heard the call. This was just a really beautiful treat to be able to experience the nature and the elements and the sacred sites in the way that I did on this journey.
There's a level of caring and listening and intention and love and warmth that happens here in 1 week that has surpassed years of what I've experienced. The women here will touch your heart.
I know so many of us have a problem kind of being seen and being understood and really being truly, authentically heard, and to be with not only two beautiful priestesses who get that, but to be held in a tribe of women where absolutely every single woman is able to see, hear, and acknowledge. I mean, that's sort of the number one gift of it all.
Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Amanda.
And we want to invite you to join us for this year's Priestess Remembrance Retreat.
Come join us in the sacred lands that really does support you to re-remember and reconnect with the most beautiful parts of yourself.
And we would be honored to guide you on a journey home to remember the most vital and beautiful and sacred parts of yourself. And we do all of this within the sacred container of sisterhood. You'll be held in a group of women to support you and walk side by side to see you in your brilliance and beauty and to reflect it back to you.
Together we will drum and dance and bring joy with our connection to the earth and to each other.
We can't wait to see you in Ireland, sister.
We would love to see you come to Ireland.
We would love to have you join us.
That's this.
Yes, we are so excited. I know a lot of people are really ready for this type of connection after what the world has been through and going through. There's a lot of people ready to come together and to really do this incredible journeying and soul work and expansion into the next iteration of what we're being asked to be right now in this world. It's quite a profound time to be alive. A lot of people are searching for what it is that we are meant to be and do in this time. What does it look like? It looks different than what we thought a few years ago. And so this retreat is really going to allow you to come into your center, to come home and remember, to reconnect to your power, and to have a lot of fun, to have a lot of fun. And most of it is outside. In fact, almost all of it is outside. So health-wise, that's one thing about this. Of course, if there's any new restrictions that come up, or we keep everybody completely aware of what changes will happen if we are not able to run it for any reason because of restrictions that happen, that will be known as soon as possible to you. But granted, everything keeps open and keeps moving forward. It really is, it's the best place we can all be right now, is together and journeying and doing this soul work in such a profound time of coming into our next iteration and fullness. So it's August 7th through 14th, 2022. And priestessremembranceretreat.com is one place. I'll type it in the chat box in a minute. And then Amanda has it also on her site. We both have places to register on our site, so you can register now. And there's single rooms or double rooms available if you're, if you want to be on your own, or if you want to be with someone else, you can partner with another woman, or we will partner you. But there is such a mix of, historical learning and information, and then sacred sites and sacred journeying and circles and soul work and emotional work mixed with a lot of fun and celebration. So it's a really, I believe, I'm biased, a perfectly balanced experience for the body, heart, and soul and mind. And I couldn't be more honored than to be leading it with this beautiful goddess in her homeland. She knows it like the back of her hand and the front of her hand. She is just such an incredibly wise guide for us to have in her homeland. And it's so special to be able to have that in a sacred place, to have someone who's from there, a native of the land, who's connected to the land. It makes all the difference.
And Laura brings so much magic, so much magic. And actually it's just together, it's just so beautiful, because we just weave off each other, and it's just so special and sacred. And I'd love to read a couple of the comments here, because Sandra said, wow, it looks so beautiful so many ways. Will I even want to come back?
Yeah.
And Emma's like, oh, such a beautiful and sacred memories. I highly recommend. It was life-changing for me. And then Maria said the capstone, where we are in Ishnok, that's the navel of Ireland, the very center point. She said she's only 20 minutes from there. And then Farron, oh, tears of remembrance, tuning back into that sacred adventure. Oh, so beautiful.
Farron's voice was on the video, and she was such an incredible Emma. So many of these women who are with us today were also a part of that journey. So thank you, ladies, for making it so sacred and special.
It was everything that they brought, that we all came together and created magic. It's like we're in a magical, vortex of white light for the whole time. So, and Leslie, beautiful video, special opportunity, more beneficial than one could imagine. Such important work. Thank you, goddesses. Well, thank you. And thank you all for being here. And Laura and I's offering to all of you is to meet on the points of the wheel. So we will be coming back for another circle at Imbolc in the belly around the beginning of February. So stay tuned for dates with that. And then we would love to hear, oh, Judith, we look forward to seeing you in August. That's wonderful. And also, and I am so sorry, and I hope our pronunciation is right. It's Tuash. How did you pronounce? I wish we could do voices, because then you could tell us the correct. But her flight is booked, and we're so excited to sharing this sacred space.
Shua. Yeah, if you want to give us phonetics in there and how to pronounce it,
that would be great. Yeah.
Sorry if we butchered it. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Enjoy the quiet. Listen to Shua.
Shua, beautiful. Maria, thank you. That's beautiful. Shua. And Laura, would you like to close sacred space for us?
I'd love to. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry if I've only said ladies, I apologize. Usually we're doing just women, so welcome gentlemen as well, if there's any gentlemen here. Thank you for holding down the divine masculine in our group. So I invite everyone to close your eyes. Just taking a moment to bask in the energy of what's been cultivated and called forth and remembered here. You can just imagine even like drawing little cords of light from the circle into your solar plexus, into your heart. Just imagine these little cords of light, of little aha moments or little insights or of remembrances or of other women that touched your heart. And just bring those little cords of light, imagine them coming back into your body and replenishing and restoring and giving you the energy and the juice for going into the stillness of the solstice, going into the healing and the quiet, and preparing for the celebration of the light to come. So just imagine that you're cultivating that light, drawing it back into your body, those cords of light. See your whole body starting to light up and shine and fill from the inside out. Bring in the cords of light from your ancestors, from your loved ones who are on the other side that have crossed, from angels or archangels or guides. Just see cords of light drawing in like you're filling up and preparing for a deep journey. See yourself filling and shining. And I invite you to open your hands, if you'd like, to the sky, to the ceiling, and just imagine cords of light coming down into your hands, filling your hands with power and wisdom and love and guidance, all of the things that are already within you, just amplifying and enhancing them. And then I invite you to take those hands and place them anywhere on your body, on your heart center, your lap, wherever it feels like you would like to bring that energy in even more. All of the sacred moments from the circle. And thank you to all of our guides and ancestors and loved ones who were here, and angels. Thank you to all of the voices that were shared in the circle. Thank you to Amanda. Thank you to my son for allowing me to be here for this long. He knows. And thank you to everyone for your time and space and commitment to yourself. Let's all take a few deep breaths and exhale. Let there be a sound if it feels good on the out breath a couple of times. And then when you feel ready, after this final breath, you can open your eyes. And thank you all so much. Thank you, Amanda. And
thank you, Laura. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
thank you to all the beloveds that were here and took time out of their day to be with us. We're so grateful.
And we hope to see you in Ireland. Please reach out if you have any questions to either one of us. My email is laura@laurajswan.com. Amanda's is Amanda.
And it's sophia.me@gmail.com. Yeah.
And okay, say that again. Sorry.
I'll like pop it in here in the box.
Our emails.
There we go.
Here, if you have any questions or reflections from the circle, we love to hear them. And any questions about the retreat, we're very excited to welcome you with open arms.
There you go. Oh, thank you, beloveds. So wonderful being with you all. And I'm just popping this in here so everyone has, there we go. A beautiful, beautiful winter solstice, and just take that time and actually even just honoring yourself now and just saying, wow, you've taken this last hour to be present and come into circle and do ceremony, and it's really important to acknowledge yourself for that as well. So sending so much love to you all. Thank you for being here. Okay,
lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.